Acknowledge me, the one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Scoops, the sole admin of Scoops. Yes, opening round is done and dusted. I was going to say round one, because that's essentially what it truly is. Yeah, well, my Saints lost by 12 points against the Pies. Geelong got thumped by the Suns without Matt Rowell. Hawthorn got a reality check and lost to an injury-depleted Giants. Sydney smashed the Blues after a first half they would have been concerned with. But a 12-goal third quarter from the Swans, the third best ever in a quarter, ever. Carlton got embarrassed, and Michael Voss's job is, again, continuing to get heavily scrutinised. But Sydney in the second half did really, really good. And the Brisbane Lions and Western Bulldogs, Dane Zorko at the end, was that a 50-metre penalty that he should have got? Yes, a good game nonetheless, but with Brisbane robbed of a chance for Zorko to kick a goal, essentially what would have been on the sign or thereabouts. A lot happened in opening round. Apparently it's here to stay for the future, so whatever. What do you think about opening round? Do you like it? Do you not like it? It's definitely very interesting. Now on the show today, Scoops Goes Bang. We've got 3 things to bang on about. There was only going to be 2 things to bring on this segment this evening, but now 3 because Kane Cornes, as always, has opened his mouth about a Saints player. He's talking complete and utter nonsense. So we'll get to those 3 topics very, very shortly. And welcome back to the team of the week. The heavily debated team of the week is back in the AFL podcast for the first time since August of 2025. So welcome back to Team of the Week. We're going to review opening round, preview round 1. If you want to join my Supercoach, please go and do so. The code for that is 267549. If you want to join that, please go and do so. It's on the screen for you all right now. If you're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, 267549. If you want to compete against me and see how you go against me in an overall point of view, you're going to have to wait and find out. And the only way you can do so is by joining that league. Now, a hot tip for Supercoach. One thing I will say going into round 1, I'm not going to give you names, but let's just say if there's names you are pondering that played in opening round and they didn't do too well, do not go away from them because of one bad score. Now, if there's a certain player that you're pondering that a lot of people may have and you didn't start with him in opening round, he did well for his team and scored a massive score. If you don't start him, you got no one to blame but yourself. Yeah. Now, right. And the Scoops medal will be a thing again this year, like I mentioned last week. But that'll be a big extravaganza show at the end of the year. Obviously, no votes will be read on this podcast throughout the year. It'll be a big extravaganza show at the end of the year, like it's always really been. Well, in the last 2 or 3 years or so. When it first started, it was different, but now that's how it'll stay. Then, now, forever, together, forever. That's how it'll plan to stay. All right. Now, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish someone a happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any state league players who want to see them on the channel in a goal kicking challenge and or interview, please do send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and we'll try and get something sorted, or on Facebook, Scoops, all things footy, 24/7. All righty. Oh, it's time. It is now time for that world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Well, let's just say there's something we'll be talking about, and this is going to get explosive. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to be explosive, and we're going to start off with the big topic of the 3. Well, first of all, the non-free kick to Jack Higgins in the Saints game last night in the goal square, about 5 metres out. Margin was 7 points. 30 minutes to go in the last quarter. Right? Now, I don't care what you want to say about the umpiring as a whole this game. We're not here to talk about the umpiring as a whole. We're talking about this one sole moment of play and 2 incidents in within 10 seconds of each other. Now, Jack Higgins, I think it was Maynard in the goal square, clear holding the ball, not paid. Now, I don't want to hear, oh, Saints send more frees. Number one, nowhere in the rule book does it say the free kicks have to be even to, doesn't have to be even, doesn't say that. You could be clumsy, everything like that. But even if they were robbed Collingwood a couple of times, which they weren't, but if they were, that doesn't excuse this one sole incident where Jack Higgins clearly tackles Braden Maynard, spills the ball. He had prior opportunity and dropped the bloody thing in the goal square. The ball scrambled out. Then Liam Ryan picks up the ball and gets his head taken off by a Collingwood player. No free kick. In fact, he gets pinned holding the ball for it. Now, regardless if you want to debate the Liam Ryan one, whether you say he played into it or whatever, that's actually even more irrelevant in a way because the Jack Higgins one was clear as day holding the ball. And if you need to go to the Liam Ryan incident, that was also high. So either way, we get a free kick. Either way, you get a goal. And it goes back to 1 point the margin with 12 minutes or so to go. Now, when I get to the Saints game, you'll know we missed plenty of opportunities. They took their chances. We didn't. But that has got nothing to do with this incident. Now, I'm seeing all these people telling me, oh, the ball just fell out and Liam Ryan ducked. That's a load of crap. Now, it's funny, for people who want to say how biased I am, that supposedly, that's a crock of shit for starters. So if you think what I'm saying is wrong, maybe think again. When you listen to the entire 3AW crew, led by Sam Doherty and a few other people on the show, this is what they had to say about that incident with Liam Ryan, and in particular the one with Jack Higgins.
They had to be holding the ball.
Allen's handballs it forward. Higgins, Ryan, tackled by McCreary. Higgins goes again with the snap. The mark to Wilson, no, he dropped it. He goes again, outside of the boot, kick. It's marked by Maynard, play on the call. Owens goes in, gives the handball. Garcia can't pick it up cleanly. Ryan goes to ground. Was there high contact? They pile in. The umpire will have it.
Holding the ball.
Paid a free kick for holding the ball.
Put his head down into it. I know it's loud, but if you had to know that was about 8 metres, they'd have to be holding the ball in the goal square.
Now, you listen to Sam Doherty, Matthew Lloyd, and the guy running the commentary. Apologies, I don't know his name off the top of my head. The voice sounds familiar, and he's a good commentator. However, they all said how that should have been holding the ball. You've seen that footage or a photo of Jack Higgins tackling Braden Maynard. He had the ball in his hand. Both arms were pinned. Classic holding the ball. So, for people to say, oh, you got all the free kicks in the game, so that deserves to happen. That's not an excuse. That's clear as day holding the ball. It's a big moment in the game and another big name club getting protected in a big moment in a game. That's what it comes down to. If that was the other way around and that was Collingwood in St Kilda's position, 100% that would have been holding the ball. Geelong, they get them. Hawthorn, they get it. The Western Bulldogs, they would get it. It really stems down to what team you are and who is involved. It's a Saints player, so of course that happens. If that was Collingwood, that's a free kick to them and they get the goal and all that. So I'll talk about the Saints game as a whole and missed opportunities later. But this one incident alone just shows how shit umpiring continues to be. Complete and utter rubbish umpiring. Yet again, Matt Stevic and every other umpire in that should be embarrassed. But I know that before the game. Once I saw Matt Stevic's name was on the umpires list, I knew the game was going to be rigged in some capacity. Because he's a shit umpire, simple as that. So the majority of them, to be fair. Now, another big topic. This was the late edition. Kane Cornes. Gee, if Kane Cornes doesn't talk complete and utter shit most weeks, he always does. I'll be more shocked if he doesn't. Now, I wasn't going to bring this up until I saw this just before I recorded. He had a big dig at Sam Flanders, who dominated the preseason, who was a good player from the Gold Coast Suns. He's only 24. Played midfield, dominated, played halfback, dominated the Suns. Last year was pushed in the forward line because of Rowell and Anderson and Miller. Had Brandon Fiorini there at times, Alex Davies. had other players pushing through there. He played through the midfield a little bit, but more forward. So he wanted to leave. On a 5-year deal at around 800,000. Kane Cornes, again, in this video that you'll see, is fabricating the numbers, saying 900K. And even if it was, this buyer's remorse that he comes out with, wow. Listen to the shit that Kane Cornes spews out yet again. And Kane, you ain't going to like saying this because I've got a comeback that you'll have no comeback for.
Any buyer's remorse on old Sam Flanders? There has to be buyer's remorse. Was it pick 7 and a $900,000 wage?
Bit early.
Well, I don't know. The Gold Coast clearly saw something because they moved him quick sticks out of their midfield.
The Gold Coast have upgraded everywhere.
I understand, but they saw this 12 months prior to anyone else. Flanders was a ball magnet that was playing midfield, and they said, "No, I think we've had a couple go past you. Let's find a new role for him." That's a big money deal for a player who thinks he's a designated kicker that can't hit a target.
He's a designated misser, is he?
He thinks he should be the designated kicker, and he can't hit one.
Is he a stylish misser?
No, he's like, good luck. Go and get your 25 or 30 every week. Who cares? So there's an issue there.
Oh, there is an issue there, Kane, and it's with you. Not with David King, not with Sammy Flanders, but with you. This is your typical weekly bash of St Kilda. I didn't hear a peep out of you when Sam Flanders had 36 in a practice game, had a bunch of clearances, done really well against his old side. I didn't see you bash Sam Flanders last year. Now, lo and behold, he comes to St Kilda and, oh, coincidence. Now you're bagging him. Now you say Gold Coast couldn't ship him out any faster. Gee, that is complete, utter shit. You heard Damien Hardwick say throughout the whole year how much they want to keep him. But guess what, Kane? Once Christian Petrarca wanted to come to the club, they had no choice but to get rid of A-grade players out of their club to get another top 10 pick for a contracted A-grade midfielder in Petrarca. Melbourne were not going to let him go unless they gave 2 top 10 picks. They only had 1. They needed to bring in another. St Kilda got Sam Flanders because we needed another A-grade midfielder. We got the man we wanted. Gold Coast got what they wanted because it helped them get Christian Petrarca. And what do you mean, the midfield? They didn't want him. Before Petrarca, they had Rowell, Anderson, Miller, other players pushed through there, Bailey Humphrey as well. And I mentioned some of the lower level players as well, but they had a lot of options. Sam Flanders had 28 disposals last night. And played fine. It wasn't his biggest game, but this bias remorse bullshit for any player off one game shows how completely delusional you truly are. What do you mean? Gold Coast couldn't get rid of him quick enough. He was the only way they could get Petrarca in and get a top 10 pick. St Kilda wanted Sam Flanders. They wanted to keep their future pick. So the only way that was going to happen was with pick 7. And we got the player we wanted. It helped Gold Coast get the player and pick they needed to entree to Melbourne with pick 8 for Petrarca. That was the only way Gold Coast were going to get Petrarca. St Kilda wanted Flanders. Melbourne win, Gold Coast win, we win the trade. But more complete, utter bullshit coming out of your mouth. One game. And you're acting like he was terrible. 28 disposals, like 4 clearances. How's that bad? Sure, he had some kicks that weren't great, but then you can say that about the entire team. For every game, for every club in the competition. But you're nitpicking on a Saints player. Shock me. Yet again. And if you want to go, let's give you a history lesson, Kane. So you want to bring up Sam Flanders. And you want to say how he thinks his kicking is elite and he's the designated kicker, you say. Well, get a load of this, Kane. You're precious Jason Horne-Francis, okay? Now, Sam Flanders is only 2 years older, so I don't want to hear this age thing between Horne-Francis and Flanders. because they're only 2 years different. So you want to bag Sam Flanders. Now, I'm going off his stats from last year in 2025 as the same for Horne-Francis, okay? So Sam Flanders mainly playing as a forward. They averaged only 2 disposals difference on average. Horne-Francis just had 2 disposals more on average. But here's the key stat here, Kane. You want to talk about kicking efficiency. Sam Flanders' disposal efficiency last year was at 75%. His kicking efficiency, 65%. You want to bag that all you like. Well, then explain this. Horne-Francis' disposal efficiency last year was 66%. That's 9% less than Flanders. And kicking efficiency, the one you wanted to highlight so much about Sammy Flanders, he averaged 65% kicking efficiency last year. Horne-Francis, shock me, Kane, 56. And you glaze him like he is the next best thing in the competition. Not saying he's not good, not saying he's bad, but he's not as good as you think he is. And if you want to bag Sam Flanders' kicking efficiency, how about you go bag Horne-Francis, something that you've never done? Hypocrite. Kane Cornes, typical. Where's the same energy you have for Horne-Francis? You're a typical St Kilda basher, and you've said some outrageous things, but this is one of your worst. I'm glad David King did not agree with you, because that's what you wanted him to do, and he didn't, because you're talking complete and utter shit, which is what you do on a regular basis. It's like you're a attention seeker at this point, really. Lift your game, Kane. It's embarrassing. Sam Flanders is better than Jason Horne-Francis. Kicking efficiency, disposal efficiency, had a better career so far, and will have the better career. And Horne-Francis will be playing no finals for years to come. Sam Flanders will. So, joke's on you. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention, this is something that really annoyed me at footy games last year, and it's something I want to bring up again. Now, apparently there's a rule in the tennis that you cannot get up between games, and this is something that needs to happen in the AFL. This happened last night, 82,000 people at the MCG. This happens at Marvel on a regular basis, but last night it was beyond a joke. Where I was sitting, I kid you not, 3 minutes into a quarter, 6 minutes into a quarter, halfway through the quarter, last 5 minutes of a quarter, a continuous amount of people per quarter kept getting up. And it's ridiculous. It's blocking people's vision. And then those same people stand in their aisle or walking down the aisle, standing there, stopping to watch the game. Either sit in your damn seat or piss off, basically. There's got to be a rule in AFL, just like the tennis has. Apparently the tennis have that rule where you can't stand between serves and all that stuff. Same should be applied here. If it was up to me, this would be the rule you have. This. Okay. You want to go to the toilet during the quarter, want to get food, beat the crowd, fine. You go out, you can't come back in until the quarter's done. And if you don't come back before the quarter starts, stiff shit. You miss out. Time everything perfectly. Get there earlier. Get your food earlier. Get it within the breaks. This is what I would put in place if I was in charge. If you are not in your seat within 2 minutes of the start of each quarter, you're locked out. Stiff shit. Because people that pay money, that sit in their seat, should be allowed to see the game. If I wanted my vision blocked and stare at the big screen, I'll go home and watch the bloody thing. Number one, waste no money, waste no time. But we go because we want to go and support the team and everything like that. So we should be able to go to the football without continuously having our vision blocked because people don't have common courtesy. Arrive on time, stop going 50 times between a quarter. Actually, do what your intentions is to go to a game is to watch the game, not go up, down, up, down, up, down. Quarters should be blocked off. If you're not there in the first 2 minutes of a quarter and you're not in your seat, stiff shit, you can't go up until the quarter's done. Simple as that. Then you can go watch one of those small screens near a bar or something, and you're not going to blame but yourself. Happened a lot last year, and it pissed me off a lot last year. But last night was a joke, and you could say it's probably because of a bigger crowd, but people do that with small crowds as well. So it's one thing that's really pissing me off. Stay in your seat. Simple as that. If you need to go toilet and it's during the quarter, sure, you can't help that. That's fine. You go out. You can't come back till the quarter's done. Simple as that. Pathetic. Hope you all enjoyed that edition of the world famous segment Scoops Goes Bang Right. Now, guess what? It is back. The team of the week. But before we do that, 3 players from the Brisbane Lions have been suspended. Harris Andrews for 3 games, Zach Bailey for 1 game, and Darcy Gardner for 1 game. Now, I did see an incident with Darcy Gardner during the game. I'm not sure if it's the one from the last quarter or the third quarter, but if it's that one, I'm not fully surprised. But the Zach Bailey one and Harris Andrews ones I've seen. Now, how Zach Bailey got a week for that incident with Michael Selwood when Michael Selwood had more force than Zach Bailey did? So if anyone's copying anything, it was Michael Selwood. Now, I'm not saying he should have got anything, but if anyone was, it was him. What the hell is Zach Bailey getting a week for? For what exactly? Absolutely nothing is what he got a week for. It's bullshit. That is crap. Now, the Harris Andrews one, 3 weeks. People saying he should have got more, or 3 weeks is absolutely fair, and some people say that he should have got only 1 or 2. Now, I'm in the camp that he should have got only 1 or 2. Now, 1, because unfortunately Arthur Jones got knocked out, but then again, some players get knocked out unintentionally. Doesn't mean they should be suspended for it. It's just an unfortunate thing. Now, Arthur Jones was also trying to wrestle with Harris Andrews and have a go at him and pushing and shoving and all that crap. He wouldn't get off him. Now, Harris Andrews shouldn't have swung the arm because you run the risk of you hit him, you're in trouble. You don't hit him, you might be lucky. But it should not have been 3 weeks. It should have been 1 or 2. 1, because he knocked him out. But I don't think his intention was to knock him out. His swinging arm motion intention wasn't to intentionally hit him. It was to get him off him by probably whacking him in the guard or something like that, or just shove him off. And unfortunately for Harris Andrews, it connected. So I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a suspension. He does, because he got him clean. But I don't think it should have been what he got. I think it's a complete exaggeration. And no, if it was a Saints player, I would not have said it should have been over 3 weeks. The action alone and the incident getting him knocked out probably warrant a week combined. But 3, he didn't try to knock him out. He tried to get him off him. That's what he did. He deserves a week because he got him clean, but that wasn't his intention. I think it was careless, not intentional. Will they appeal? Will they appeal at the Lions? Well, time will tell what they're going to do. I think they won't, but I think they should. They got plenty of money, so why not? Let's wait and see what happens there. But that's that. All right, so I thought I would mention that. Now, I don't know if the Rising Star nominations are out for this round, but yeah, whoever gets it, if there is one, well done to them. Charlie Curnow against his old side. How good was Charlie Curnow, by the way? Especially in half the game, in the first quarter and the back half of the game. All right, it is the moment you've all been waiting for. It is now time for my Scoops opening round. Team of the week. All righty. From the back line, the pockets, Tanner Bruin and Dane Zorko. Full back, Joe Fonte. Half back line, the flankers, Jack Sinclair and John Noble. Centre half back, Jack Silvani. Wingers, Ollie Florent and Ed Richards. Centreman, Lockie Neal. Half forward line, the flankers, Bailey Humphrey and Jake Stringer. Centre forward, Jake Riccardi. Forward pockets, Leo Lombard and Charlie Cameron. Full forward, all hail the King, Ben King. Ruck, Mark Pitnet. Rovers, Christian Petrarca and Justin McInerney. Interchange, TDK. Tom de Koning. Jordan, I don't TDK. Jordan DeGoey. Ryan Lester. Josh Dacos. And Isaac Quaynor. The emergencies, Callum Wilkie, Took Miller, Logan Morris, and N. Dacos. Now, people are going to go, oh, you didn't. How could you not put N. Dacos in the team? Well, let me talk to you. So, it's as simple as this. I know this is going to be the big talking point out of this, that N. Dacos did not make it. Well, go watch Ross Lyon's press conference, and that'll tell you all you need to know. And I agree with what Ross said. I actually thought that during the game that, okay, 41 touches is really good, but he had like 6 contested possessions and did absolutely, well, not absolutely nothing, but did not what other 41 disposal games would have. He was fine. But I think that's all he was, to be honest. I'm not trying to bait people. I'm generally being serious that I don't think he was that good. I've always sung the praises of N. Dacos all the time, and think he's the best player in the league. But I don't think this was his best 40-plus disposal game or just a good 40-plus disposal game in general. I have a few other Collingwood players that I thought were better than him and more effective and good. And basically, they're all the guys on the bench. So, as for everyone in the team of the week, there was some good players that did really well for me. So, Tanner Bruin had 31 disposals for Geelong and did really well off the half back line and played his part for Geelong in a team that got absolutely thumped by the Suns. Dane Zorko kicked a goal in 31, should have had 2 goals because he should have had a chance to kick his second on the siren to win the game. Joe Fonte for the Suns. Not for the Suns, for the Giants. A medium-sized defender, had 22 disposals and like 10 intercepts, did really, really well. Jackie Sinclair from my Saints, the co-captain now, 35 disposals. Jack Sinclair gets his jumper number for disposals. Did really well. He was our best player easily, Jack Sinclair, along with the next man on this list, Jack Silvani. First game as a Saint, I thought he did really well. 19 disposals, 9 intercepts. I thought, a lot of players in this game alone for defenders had a lot of disposals that weren't that effective, but I thought Jack did his part with the intercepts, running off an opponent to charge at another contest and just spoil it across. I think that was really noticeable for Jack, so I was really happy with how all our recruits went, but in particular, Jack Silvani did really well along with the man on the bench we'll get to shortly. John Noble was really good for the Suns, 2 goals, 32 disposals. If Petrarca didn't do what he did, he may have got the 3 votes, Johnny Noble, but that still can mean what a great game Johnny Noble had. Been a great pickup for the Suns from the Pies. Ollie Florin, the former Swan at the Blues, had about 22 disposals on the wing. He was involved in everything, in a few fights as well, but I thought his game was really good for the Blues, along with maybe Sam Walsh, was probably Carlton's best players. Lockie Neal, 39 disposals, just elite clearance game. I think it was 11 clearances from Lockie Neal. Lockie Neal doing Lockie Neal things. That's why he's a 2-time Brownlow medalist. And Lockie Neal, through everything that's been happening on the footy field, he was fantastic. Ed Richards, 2 goals and 30 disposals for the Bulldogs, was quite arguably their best player. Bailey Humphrey kicked 3 or 4 goals with his 18 disposals, and he did really well for the Suns. Key impact on the game. Jake Riccardi, 3 goals and 15, 17 touches. He was really good. The package, Jake Stringer, 5 goals, 18 disposals, 19 disposals. He was best on ground for me. Leo Lombard, about 2 goals and 15 disposals. He was everywhere. He was electric for the Suns, Leo Lombard. Ben King, 4 goals. Never been a high disposal getter, but that doesn't mean you can't put him in team of the week. Charlie Cameron played his best game in about a year. I thought for the first time in about a year, he actually had a really strong game. Is this the form change that Charlie Cameron needs? Kicked forward, about 15 touches, did really well. You heard that song at the Gabba a lot when he kicks a goal. Country Road. Mark Pitnet, 3 goals, 18 disposals. You look, Brodie Grundy did better in the second half, and it was probably even in the second half. But Mark Pitnet's first half was really strong. He finished with 3 goals, 18 disposals for a ruck. It's pretty good considering he was sharing the ruck with Liam Reedy, who did absolutely nothing. But, against Brodie Grundy, you got to give the credit to Mark Pitnet here. He did really well. Christian Petrarca had like 3 or 4 goals with 34 touches. Thanks for that, Melbourne. The Gold Coast Suns are saying. Justin McInerney, 3 goals and 31 disposals. Obviously was going to make it. And he was a key part in their surge with their 12-goal third quarter, a record as well, in top 3 ever now in a quarter. He was a part of that. Now, TDK had 20 disposals, sharing the ruck of Rowan Marshall, who unfortunately has concussion and won't play next week, and that's a massive blow for the Saints. But he finished with 20 disposals. He did the bulk of the ruck, probably 80% of the ruck. 20 disposals, about 20-odd hit-outs. TDK did really well. And like Jack Silvani, great pickup for the Saints. All 4 recruits are, but in particular, standouts in this round was Jack Silvani and Tom DeConing. Jordan DeGoey, he was probably one of those guys for Collingwood that really annoyed me in terms of he was just around when they needed a guy to kick a goal, kick 2 goals off the pack. A Jack Silvani spoiled, landed in his lap, was tin ass. And he roved another one really well. I think it might have been off Jack Silvani again, or I think that's who it was twice. But he just played really well. 3 goals and 19 disposals. He did pretty good. Ryan Lester for the Lions, he had 22 disposals in the back line, did really well. Josh Dacos at 36 off half-back, did really well. Now, the reason he's on the bench was Sinclair, Noble, Bruin, and Zorko. In that role, I feel were better. But he was still good, more effective than his brother. Isaac Quainer off half-back I thought was really good as well. He just seemed to be in everything. A bit like Jack Silvani. Their numbers may not be massive, but I think they were just around, when it mattered for both sides in their back lines. Cal Wilkie at 26. Normally I would put him in, but I really like the efforts of all those other guys at halfback. I could have put him in instead of Fonte, but Fonte had 11 intercepts. Wilkie played great, but I just went Joe Fonte over my man Cal Wilkie, the new co-captain, along with Jack Sinclair. Took Miller a goal and 30 was stiff. Dacos 41 and only 6 effective disposals, so that's why he didn't make it essentially. And he wasn't that dominant and impactful. Logan Morris, 3 and 15. He was the one I considered a fair bit at the end. But yeah, he did pretty good though for the Lions. But yeah, that is what it is. Let me know if your thoughts on my team of the week down below. I think it's a pretty good team, to be honest. A really good team. Right. Now, let's review opening round. Remember to join my Supercoach fan club, code 267549. Right. So, opening round, Sydney 132, Carlton 69, 63-point win to the Swans. First half, Carlton were great. Then after that, Carlton were shit. As a Carlton fan in the first half, you would have been over the moon going, this is great. Pitnet dominating Grundy, Walsh impacting, Florent doing well against the old side, Haywood popping up for a goal here and there. Everything just going well. And typical Carlton lately, with a click of a finger, they were done. 12 goals conceded in the third quarter alone. 6 goals conceded in 8 minutes. Then another 6 for the next 12. Completely shit. Now, Michael Voss's job is in trouble. We all know that. He already was. But you can't fully blame him. Where was Patrick Cripps? Did he even play? Jacob Wiedering. Guys like that in the back line. Where the hell were you in the second half? Did you go home at halftime and thought the job was done? Charlie Curnow dominating the second half and the first quarter. Where was his opponent? Non-existent. Justin McInerney and Errol Goulden just roamed around like they were playing on their own. Like they were loose men in the team, like they had extra players. Carlton in the second half was completely different to the first half. That was like watching North Melbourne or Richmond football in that second half from Carlton. In fact, I would go as far to say not even Richmond would be that bad in a second half or in a half like that. North Melbourne, they've done it before themselves, very similar. But even they wouldn't be that bad. That was single-handedly the worst half of football from one side ever of recent memory. I think the two above that were like 2000 and 2001 or some shit. So the single worst quarter by a club since 2001 was from Carlton against Sydney, third quarter in opening round of 2026. 12 goals conceded. I think it was 12-3-75. Complete dog shit from Carlton and simply amazing from the Swans. Grundy, McInerney, Goulden, Heaney kicked 2 and 20. Matt Roberts did well. I think he kicked 2 goals as well. Some other Sydney players in the back line did really well as well. So, back to the drawing board, Carlton. You got Richmond this week. I think you may lose potentially. So, play like the first half, you beat Richmond easily. Play in the second half, you'll never beat a team again. But clearly they'll beat somebody. But it may be Richmond this week probably. But that was complete dog shit from Carlton, and they should be completely embarrassed with themselves. And outside of maybe Sam Walsh and Ollie Florent, no one else should be picking up a paycheck. And Mark Pinnett, sorry. And the rest, completely shit. Don't deserve anything. Where was Taylor Byrne, Vossi? Where was Wade Dirksen, the guy who was your best defender in the practice matches, couldn't get the game before Lewis Young? Spare me. Wade Dirksen and Taylor Byrne should be making their AFL and Carlton debuts this week against Richmond. If they're not, boss, you got to go. Can't make basic selections. Frankie Evans, if he's back this week, he's got to be in. Evans, Byrne, and Dirksen. If I don't see all of them on the team sheet, expect a roasting coming your way, Vossi. And if Liam Reedy somehow gets a game again, I will laugh and again bring it up, Voss. Seriously. That's why Fremantle were happy to get rid of him, because he's nothing more than a backup fringe player. And we're playing VFL for the bulk of the year now. That was shit. Gold Coast 125 smashed Geelong 69. Another team that scored 69 and another team that lost by over 55 points. 56-point victory to the Suns, 125-69. Don't let the last quarter fool you. Geelong was shit. It got as far as 85 points. Don't be fooled by Ollie Dempsey, kicking 4 and 20. He was on 1 and 13 at three-quarter time, so junk time goals. So that's why he wasn't even considered for Team of the Week at all. Outside of Tanner Bruin, the rest of the Geelong players were shit. Now, people say, they had, I was going to say Charlie Cameron. They had Jeremy Cameron out and Patrick Dangerfield. Jeremy Cameron, absolutely. Give you that. They missed Matt Rao 1 apiece. It wasn't the forwards' fault why Geelong got smashed. It was the midfielders. Geelong had their midfield. I've always said that Geelong's midfield isn't crash hot. They seem to find a way, but their ruck and midfield isn't strong at all. You can't even name me 3 regular, consistent midfielders for Geelong that you're going to be really happy with. Their rucks, please. They play Mark Blixarves in there. They don't even want to play him there. They don't even rate Reece Stanley. They won't pick him. Mitch Edwards couldn't get picked. Toby Conway's injured, but he's always injured. They tried to get Rowan Marshall. They failed because they wouldn't pay up. So St Kilda kept him, and joke's on you, Geelong. You're going to have another year with no ruck, so you're not going to win a granny. But Patrick Dangerfield was old and finished. Sure, it helps if he's there, but he's not changing a game anymore. Absolutely not. And that won't change the margin you lost by. It was 85 points at three-quarter time, essentially, or something along those lines. So, or during the third quarter. So, no excuses. Gold Coast, simply amazing. Geelong, completely shit. Geelong have Freo this week at home at Shaver Stadium, so we'll see how they go there. Apparently, Freo is some top 4 side now all of a sudden. So if that's the case, they're not winning that off what they just did to Gold Coast or another top 4 side. So, for Tanner Bruin, for his first game this year, he did really well after being out. So he did good. He was their best player with 31 touches. But the rest was shit, pretty much. As for Gold Coast, it was Anderson kicked 1 goal 4 and had like 25 touches, so he did really well. Matt Rowell didn't play, as I said. We don't know when he's back. Is it next week? Is it this week? Is it in 4 weeks? We don't know. It's TBC still, I think, as of this recording. So hopefully he's back soon. So I might have him in my Supercoach team. But we'll see. Tuke Miller kicked a goal in 30. John Noble, 2 and 32 was great. Ben King kicked 4. Leo Lombard with 2 and 15 was good. Bailey Humphrey with 4 goals was good and 14, 15 touches. Mac Andrew had 26 disposals. Joel Jeffrey had some moments. Gold Coast were just on. Will Powley was doing well in the back line. Sam Collins. Charlie Ballard's got to come back from a knee injury as well. So it's another player Gold Coast missed who would have matched up on Jeremy Cameron. So that kind of cancels that out. So it's Matt Rowell over Dangerfield, and Matt Rowell shits over Patrick Dangerfield now. So if anyone was missing more better players, it was Gold Coast, not Geelong. So no excuses. They got embarrassed, and it was a great sight to see. This old and too slow mantra that people have for Collingwood, where the hell's that attitude for Geelong? They were shit. And I love seeing them get smashed. Speaking of seeing a side get beaten convincingly, and it was great to see, GWS smashed Hawthorn 122 to 95, 27 points. Don't let the margin for you. This was also about 40 points at one point. Jack Gunston kicked 4 for Hawthorn, but a few junk time goals, but nonetheless, still 4 goals. One on Jackie Gunston. John Newcombe done all right after getting that suspension overturned. But Joe Fonte, Jake Stringer, Clayton Oliver against his old side, but for his new side at 26 disposals and like 11 clearances. Claries, they call him, he did well. Callahan did well. Lucky Whitfield, as he always does. So a lot of Giants players succeeded. Harvey Thomas has signed a 2-year extension today. I just saw that Tom Green announced to the playing group. So on Harvey Thomas. But yeah, GWS are on song. I tip GWS, people like, they're not winning. They got all their injuries. They're not going to make the top 6. Yeah. They just beat Hawthorn at home with all their injuries, and Hawthorn got no one out. So what excuses you got for that? Beware the orange tsunami. Brisbane, 106, defeated by the Bulldogs, 111. Bulldogs by 5 points. Look, no one's saying that they didn't play well, the Bulldogs. I did not say that. Brisbane were good for the bulk of the game. Bulldogs came back. But at the end, Dane Zorko should have got a free for 50-metre penalty. There was another incident, I can't remember the play now, but there was a free that Brisbane should have got that they didn't. That would have resulted in having a shot at goal. They didn't get it. And this is late in the game. But, Brisbane, they'd be disappointed. But they got all these injuries. Hugh McCluggage done his calf or something at the start of the game. So they were essentially without him the whole game. They're missing players already. So it's not ideal. Backs against the wall. All the pressure on them because they're reigning back-to-back premiers. So they've got a bit of a cop-out excuse. Bulldogs, yes, great win. Beating the Brisbane Lions is not easy at the Gabba. I know. But you gotta be lucky. And does that really shock me? No, it does not. When you've got some of the most protected players in the competition in your team, you will always forever be protected. And that's exactly what they were. Ed Richards did really well with 2 goals and 30 disposals. People were pumping up Connor Butterick for his game. But yeah, the ineligible guy from the Western Bulldogs, yeah, okay, he got 3 goals. But 19 disposals for a midfielder. Gee, if you want to bag Sam Flanders, Kane, why aren't you bagging that game? Doesn't suit the narrative. It's quite hilarious too, by the way, that Ross Lyons said a quote about Max King statistically having the second best stats to Buddy Franklin at his age for goals and everything. Ross Lyons said this quote, not me. I'm just telling you what Ross Lyons said. But anyway, it is what it is. So the next game to go through was Saints 66, Collingwood 78. St Kilda had like 61 inside 50s to like 40. And missed opportunities, besides that Higgins bullshit umpiring decision that didn't go our way when it was close and important, and a big moment, of course, doesn't come to us when it's needed. Of course, a side like Collingwood and Geelong and the Bulldogs get protected in big moments. We've just seen Collingwood and the Bulldogs be both protected in big moments in the game. The Zorko non-50, the Higgins non-free, the Ryan taking his head off, no free, big moments, all moments that cost both teams an opportunity, St Kilda and Brisbane, to win. Especially Brisbane's one, considering there was like 10 seconds left or something like that. So, you know, missed opportunity. St Kilda, they just scored better. It wasn't just goal kicking accuracy. There was a few shots. Liam Ryan missed a basic snap. He kicked one of the goals of the year so far. I know we're only in 5 games, so calm down. I'm not saying it's going to win goal of the year, but right now it would have to be up there, if not winning it. The Dom Sheed goal in that grand final against Collingwood, Maynard involved again, funnily enough. Liam Ryan flushed it from that pocket, the Dom Sheed pocket, about the same angle, same distance, same crowd size thereabouts. Simply amazing from Liam Flying Ryan. He did really well, Liam Ryan, in that moment. But he missed a basic snap from 15-25 out on a slight angle to snap around the body on the right side for a right footer. It's just frustrating, guys. It just really was. Missed opportunities is why we lost. Okay. The umpiring didn't severely protect us like some people are saying. People that say that didn't watch the game, and if they did, they're watching with their hatred to St Kilda glasses on. We didn't lose the game because of the umpiring. Collingwood didn't almost lose because of the umpiring. Collingwood won because they took their opportunities and we didn't. It's as simple as that. Although that Higgins one should have been a free kick and would have brought it to 1 point with 12 minutes to go, and we could be talking about the Saints winning and winning despite missing a lot of opportunities. So I'm disappointed that we didn't take our opportunities. They simply did. DeGoey took their opportunities. Lockie Schultz. We had some Sharman missed an easy one. Liam Ryan missed an easy one. We didn't take our opportunities. Kicking a few meters over our forward's head, bombing it. Bombing is a repetitive thing for St Kilda. They've got to get that out. Especially when you've got an undersized forward line, you can't be bombing it repeatedly, non-stop. You've got to hit targets on the lead. Look when Cooper Sharman was hit on the lead, lace out. Looked great. He played well for the bulk of the game. That's what you need to be doing. Opening the space in the middle of the ground. Stop going to the pockets. You make it harder for yourself to kick goals when you're kicking it towards a pocket 40 meters out. Try and center it a bit. Leave a gap in the middle so they can run onto it. Rowan Marshall got concussion, and that's why he didn't play the last quarter, so he'll be out this week. Guys like Keeler will probably come in unless they put Hammer, Anthony Caminiti up full, which I prefer, and then play Dougal Howard in the back line. I think they'll play Keeler instead of Howard and leave Caminiti in the back line, but we'll have to wait and see there. But it's frustrating, but, missed opportunities is why we lost. Now, let's preview round 1. It feels like round 2, but here we are. So, Thursday night at the MCG, it is Carlton hosting Richmond, 7:30 Victorian time. I'll be tipping Carlton in this one by 12 points. Friday night at the MCG, 7:40 Victorian time, it's Essendon Hawthorn at the G. I'll be tipping Hawthorn in this one by 28 points. Saturday at Marvel Stadium, 1:15 Victorian time, it's the Western Bulldogs and the Giants. I'll be tipping the Giants in this one by 8 points. The rivalry at Marvel between those two. Geelong, Freo at GMHBA at Shaver Stadium, 4:15 p.m. Victorian time. I'll be tipping Freo in this one by 5 points. They love beating Geelong in Geelong as well. Remember that. Saturday night at the SCG, Sydney, Brisbane, 7:10 Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Brisbane Lions in this one. Actually, no, I'll be tipping the Swans in this one by 5 points. 7:35 p.m. at the MCG, Saturday nights, Collingwood and Adelaide. I'll be tipping Collingwood in this one by 7 points. 7 points. Sunday, 1:10 at Marvel Stadium, North Melbourne hosting Port Adelaide. I'll be tipping the Power in this one by 20 points. 3:15 p.m. at the MCG, it's Melbourne hosting the Saints at the G. I'll be tipping my Saints to bounce back and win by 30 points. 6:10 p.m. Sunday night at Heritage Bank Stadium, People First Stadium up on the Gold Coast. Gold Coast and Eagles. I'll be tipping Gold Coast by 38 points. So my final thoughts are simply this. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any state league players, and want to see me on the channel in a golking challenge and or interview, please do send me a message or try and get something sorted. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Kick It to Scoops. Share the video around. More content coming soon. Keep an eye out for all of that, including my match day vlog at the MCG last night. Thank you. Go Saints and acknowledge me.